And I've been trying to choose between the Pixel 8 and the S23 Ultra, but I'm getting totally confused with the technical specs like the nits of brightness, the LTPOs and the AMOLEDs and the cores and the processor. I feel your struggle, man, and I'm here to simplify it all for you. Instead of listing just the features and the detailed technicalities, I'm going to break down the features that truly matter when you're deciding which phone to choose. I hope this will be the most valuable 5 minutes you spend today. If you can do that, I'll be so grateful, and I'll give you a like and a subscribe. Deal. And I'll do you one bet and answer any questions in the comments below as well. Let's begin. I promise to cut the clutter, and let's start now. First, let's talk about the processor. Normally, I don't give it that much importance when comparing high-end phones, since they're all typically very fast and top-end at this price point, and it doesn't make that much of a difference to the everyday user. And in this case, the Samsung Snapdragon 8th Gen 2 will beat the Google's Tensor G3 on raw power and specs, but in terms of everyday performance, both of them are buttery smooth. However, the Google Tensor G3 is about so much more than just the power, as it's designed for the insane AI features that we're going to talk about in just a minute. AI in a phone? Yep, which brings me to the second and most important point, the camera. While Samsung's camera is great with vibrant picture quality and it has a massive 200 megapixel camera and that famous 100x zoom that reaches the moon, which of course isn't what you use all the time, but it's still kind of cool. And in terms of specs, it probably beats the Google Pixel 8 Pro's 48 megapixel camera. So the S23 camera is better than the Pixel 8 Pro? Hold on, it's not just about the megapixels and the specs, it's about the lens and the software that makes pictures look good. And in this case, the addition of AI. The Pixel 8 Pro has a great camera which does amazing processing and produces a balanced picture, which is what Google is known for on their Pixel phones. And where it totally stands apart is the AI-powered post-processing features like video boost, an audio eraser to remove background noise, and a magic editor that can literally take any element in the picture and move it around, change the color of the sky, and also the best take feature that uses AI to combine the best elements of different photos into one take, which is so useful when taking group shots, especially when there's always that one champion who'll blink or sneeze or look away exactly when you take the shot. Wow, so I don't have to zoom into 10 different shots anymore of groups of people trying to figure out where people are looking the best and don't have their eyes closed? Nope, not anymore. And I can just remove the random person in the background ruining my shot. You can even change how you look in the shot. Look at this example. Can you tell which is actually the original and which is the AI best take? Damn, bro. True shit, bro. Now, the all-important battery life, which is for a corporate person like me who's traveling for work all the time, so important. The S23 Ultra does have the bigger battery with 5000 mAh compared to the Pixel 8 Pro, which has about 4500. So on paper, the Samsung has the bigger battery. While the S23 Ultra battery life is good, some reviewers online have also reported that it's a bit variable on different days, but others say it's great. Most of the internet finds that both phones last all day with 7 to 8 hours of screen on time and 15 plus hours of video playback off Wi-Fi for the S23 versus 13 plus for the Pixel 8 Pro, which is pretty good. Basically, when you buy them, both will have great all-day battery life. But over time, it's likely that the S23 Ultra will still last the whole day, while Pixel users will start to get battery insecure by the evening. So the S23 wins for me on this aspect. That is pretty useful. There's nothing worse than a battery that starts to run out before the night within a few months of use. Exactly. Now, when it comes to the design, we can break it down into 3 key aspects. How the phone feels in your hand, its front-facing aesthetics, and its rear design. In terms of how it feels to hold, both the Samsung S23 Ultra and the Google Pixel 8 Pro are substantial devices, with Samsung being slightly larger with a 6.8-inch screen versus 6.7 inches for the Pixel 8 Pro, which is the same as the iPhone Plus and Max sizes, by the way, and it looks like this size is now settling in as the standard large phone size in the industry. The Samsung does have a premium feel, although it's worth noting that the sharp edges around can make it a bit uncomfortable to hold. Yeah, I don't like the sharp edges on the iPhone 14 models either. phone design seems to be moving towards comfort over aesthetic. Yeah, a little bit. Moving on to the backside aesthetics, the Pixel 8 Pro has a modern and distinctive appearance with its unique camera mount, resembling a phone wearing like stylish goggles. Meanwhile, the S23 Ultra boasts an extraordinary 4-camera setup that combines impressive design and practical functionality. I kind of like it. And I don't. And this goes to show that this is one thing which is a personal, subjective choice that everyone will have to make. The colors on the Pixel 8 Pro, by the way, are super nice with bay blue, white and black, which all look really nice with a satiny matte glass pack finish. By the way, the speakers at the bottom are pretty great and loud and punchy, and the bass doesn't get deformed even at higher volumes. The S23 Ultra and the Pixel 8 Pro both have Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and the back, which is super durable and hard to scratch, so durability is not a decision factor here, and they both spoil us, which is expected for this price point. The displays are both great, with the Google Pixel going with the battery efficient LTPO 180Hz and the slightly better AMOLED on the Samsung with an equally good refresh rate. Both are super bright, with the Pixel 8 Pro going to a crazy 2400 nits of peak brightness versus 1650 on the S23 Ultra, but don't let the numbers confuse you. Trust me, 1650 is great as well. I wouldn't make too much of a deal of the displays when choosing between these phones. But the fingerprint scanner on the 8 Pro is still a bit wonky, whilst the S23 is smooth as silk. And this is one of those random irritations with Google that we can all live with, but we wonder why doesn't this get fixed year after year. Pro tip here is to turn off the haptics, which makes the scanner a lot better, but we shouldn't need to have a hack for basic things like a fingerprint scanner to work well on a premium phone like the Pixel 8 Pro. But the saving grace is that given this phone actually has face unlock, just like Apple's Face ID, you don't actually need to use the fingerprint scanner, so I wouldn't make this a decision factor either. Got it. So the Pixel 8 Pro and the S23 Ultra are both durable, the colors on the Pixel are nicer, the screens are just as good, and the fingerprint scanner on the S23 is better than the Pixel, but it doesn't matter because the Pixel has a superb face unlock. On the Samsung, the design is a lot more straight lines and square corners, aluminum, industrial, geometric feel. That's their typical design language and many people love. It's also a pretty heavy phone at 237 grams, which is 25 grams heavier than the Pixel 8 Pro. The speakers and bass are great on the Samsung as well, although the grille does look a bit more industrial and less chic than the Pixel 8 Pro to me. The one thing the S23 has over the Pixel 8 Pro is the S Pen, which adds a layer of versatility and productivity that the Pixel 8 Pro lacks. It's a game changer for me, and I often find myself needing a stylus for various tasks like taking notes and marking up documents and so on. Yeah, there are some things like note-taking, sketching and marking up documents at work that a stylus is just great for. Yes, although I will say that I found a stylus to be more useful on larger screens like the Galaxy Note or on the foldable phones which Google, Samsung and OnePlus have just released. There's one more thing. Google this year added on the rear camera section of the Pixel 8 Pro a temperature sensor. It's listed to measure the temperature of non-human items like food and milk and stuff. No one on the internet has figured out a useful use for this, because on the one hand its accuracy is too suspect to use for everyday household items like baby's milk, and even though Google tried, they didn't get approval to measure the human body temperature, which would have actually been a useful use case. Seems like one of those things that Google employees just came up with, and then they were like, okay, we don't know why it's needed, but now that we have it, let's just ship it and see what happens. In the business world, we call this the sunk cost fallacy. We can also call it the Google wall. Wait, why? Because their feature strategy is to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Ouch. It has worked for them though. They make almost $300 billion a year. Okay, so which one should I buy? Look, this one is hard. Looks are subjective, but I like the chic aesthetic of the Pixel 8 Pro more than the in-your-face industrial design of the S23 Ultra, but I know many who think the opposite, and there's no one right answer on the looks. The battery life seems comparable, so does the raw processing power and speed. The temperature sensor is quite useless on the Pixel 8 Pro but doesn't bother you very much, whilst the S Pen on the Samsung is at least a neat feature, if not the most useful. But for me, the real way to decide between these phones is the camera, where Google's AI features steal the show, especially if you take a lot of pictures and post them on social media and love to do lots of editing. It's simply head and shoulders above the S23 or frankly any other phone in the category. Makes sense. You've just earned yourself another subscribe and like for this video, and I'll be leaving a bunch of questions in the comments.